student the other class telling me some stuff. I was like, hold on, I'm recording. Don't say anything else. Y'all, I know y'all are getting settled and getting stuff out. So last week we kind of talked about different parts of speech, nouns. We talked about how some nouns don't even really look like nouns. Like if it ends in T-I-O-N or N-E-S-S, like situation or happiness, those don't really look like nouns, but they are. I said several times that subjects of sentences, complete sentences, or subjects are always nouns and pronouns. Even sometimes they don't look like nouns, like condition or situation or something like that. And then we kind of briefly touched on the idea that these ing words, they're called gerunds. These ing words that look like verbs, not always verbing. Sometimes they're being nouns, like this word swimming right here. It's sitting in the subject seat. It's probably being the subject of a sentence. So if I can replace something, a group of words or one word, if I can replace that word with the word it or any other pronoun, then that word's a noun. And I can replace the word swimming with the word it. Swimming is fun. It is fun. Therefore, swimming is a noun. Because, we said last week that you can count it, it's a noun. If you can own it, it's a noun. Well, you can't. That test doesn't work with swimming, but if I can replace it with a pronoun, then it's a noun. So there's lots of tests you can do to identify whether something is a noun. Now, look at this sentence right here. Right there. In this sentence, you see a pronoun and two nouns. You're going to have lots of nouns and pronouns in your sentences, but they're not all necessarily going to be subjects. They'll just be hanging around in there being a noun. Most of the time, we don't care what they're doing. We're only looking for that noun that's the subject. And it's only a subject if it's in a relationship with a verb. So, in this sentence right here, who actually did something in that sentence? One word. She. And what did she actually do? One word. Called. Subject-verb relationship. These two words are absolutely in a relationship together. And the relationship, the purpose of it is to tell us who did something and what did they do. Who did it? That's your subject. What did they do? That's going to be your verb. Those tests don't usually fail you, okay? But you're going to have some tricky situations. All right, let's look at these three little pink sentences right here. Because I'm always going to call it a who, even if it's a what. All right, in this first top sentence right here, who did it? Who did something? Exactly, the lawnmower. And what did the lawnmower do? It broke. Lawnmower broke, subject-verb relationship. Now, this one's not easy. See, I told you, Rosia, it immediately just like, okay, I got it. And it's like, wait a minute, I ain't sure if I got it or not. Okay. Now, in this sentence, remember, you see those little words like can, could, should, might, may, do, does, and did. And then here's the main little 5, am, is, are, was, and were. If you see one of those little verbs like that in a sentence, it's verbing. Doesn't look like a verb, but it's verbing. So what's my verb in this sentence? It's okay to be wrong, too. Don't be afraid to be wrong. In this second sentence right here. Is. Very good. Is. Now, what is in this sentence? Something's ising. What is my favorite subject? History. So history is. See, it immediately gets hard. History is. That's not like lawnmower broke, and it's not like she called. you can't even see something happening because you don't see anything happening with that verb is. That's why you've just got to know, and I meant to have y'all something printed out today, but I have it tomorrow. I got it on my list. Those helping verbs, am, is, are, was, and were, if you see one of those in a sentence, it's verbing. Okay? You can count on it. Now here's another tricky one, and I kind of should have done this in a different color. See if I can make it do a different color. All right, not. This only really matters if you're on some of those online quizzes, but the word not is an adverb. It's not part of the verb. All right, who's doing something in this third sentence right here? I'm doing something. And what two words make up the verb? Two little bitty words. What am I doing in that sentence? Can't find it. It's right there, right? Sometimes you'll see I left the answer or something up there. The word not is it's working with the word can to show that I couldn't do it, but it's just an adverb. That just gets real technical. Okay, so who did it? What did they do? Who did it? Subject. What did they do? Verb. We're going to skip this part for today. We're going to go right here. All right. Now, this is something extra. So you may want to write like this little piece right here, go get my shoes, and this little piece right here, or at least part of it. Okay. So when my grandkids are over, I'm all the time pointing at them and saying, pick up your toys, put your shoes outside, that kind of thing. Get your own drink, right? If I start a sentence with a verb and it's actually verbing, then that is a command. And sometimes you can identify commands by, if I can point at somebody and say it and tell them to do something, then I'm looking at a command. It's called imperatives. The understood subject of an imperative is the word you, the subject you. Can't use the word you in here. So you can't use imperatives. I'll show you little tricks to get around these, but I just wanted to throw that out there today, that these sentences are off limits. It's -2 for every one of them, unless it's in a quote. -2 every time, but I'll help you around it. Okay. So you got this thing called simple subjects and complete subjects. 99% of the time, we don't care what the complete subject is. We're only looking for the who is actually doing something part of the subject. So like, my excellent student, Raja, came to class on time. Okay. So Raja is who did it. Came is what she did. My excellent student, that's just extra words describing Raja. That's all that is. We don't care about those extra words 99% of the time. All we care about is who actually did something. So our wonderful vacation, that's the complete subject. This is the last time I'll ever talk about this. Vacation is the simple subject. Who did it? The vacation. What did the vacation do? It included something. That's why it's not always a who. Sometimes it's a what. Okay. We talked about this. These ing ideas, they can be subjects. If it's sitting in the subject seat, it's probably being a subject, not a verb. If it's got a be verb with it, am, is, are, was, and were, it's probably being a verb. All right, now this is what I want you to write down right here. I know we've already said this one time before. And remember to label your notes 118. But nothing in your prepositional phrase is ever going to be the subject. Ever. Never, never, never. Going to be the subject. It's going to look like the subject sometimes. And in your mind and your heart and your soul, you're going to know, but wait a minute, that's what they're talking about in the sentence. That's who's actually doing something. But when you're trying to do subject-verb agreement, you've got to find the actual subject, the grammatical subject. So you should have one of these sheets, and if you don't, I've got plenty of them. But remember, you've got this whole list of prepositions right here. So if we look at this sentence right here, that's got the big red line in it, of the students is a prepositional phrase. When we're looking for subjects and verbs, it's gone. You can't use any words in the prepositional phrase. And the class is a prepositional phrase. It's gone. Now, you know in your heart that the student is the one that was on the football team. You know this. But student is not the grammatical subject. The word one is your grammatical subject, because it'll mess you up now. You've got to be able to find the actual subject. And you have lots of nouns. You'll see that. But this little word one, even though it's a number, it's acting like a subject, like a little pronoun. All right. Write this little list of helpers down. I know you've written them down one time before. And that's not all of them. That's just a little handful of them. But remember, if you see a word like that, and am, is, are, was, and were, those are verbing. They are marking verbs. So we kind of played with a lot of terms last week. Dependent clause, which is a fragment. Independent clause, which is a complete sentence. I said that dependent clauses are perfectly fine as long as they are connected to independent clauses. On Thursday, we talked about prepositional phrases, and prepositional phrases start with prepositions and they end with either nouns or pronouns. Lots of stuff can happen in the middle. They can be 2 words, 5 words. You can string 2 or 3 prepositional phrases together. But the most important thing we said so far is that nothing in the prepositional phrase can ever be the subject. Now you can have, and I don't think you have it today, but you can have a like a 1-word subject, and that subject did 2 things, like Lola studied and exercised this weekend. She did 2 things. Or we could have 5 or 6 people doing 1 thing. I could say Ty, Zay, and Anthony went 4-wheeler riding. So that's 3 people, 3 subjects doing 1 thing. All right. This is what I want you to do. We're probably only going to get the first thing done. So if you don't want to keep up with this your own self, you can just leave it on the corner of my desk and pick it up, and we'll do another one tomorrow. I didn't teach this last semester, and oh, I regretted it. I regretted not teaching this, so. All right, you behaving today, or you quicker today than you were yesterday. Oh, yeah. Don't get caught, right? Don't get caught. Now? Okay. So we're going to talk through the first couple of them. You can more than welcome to work ahead. All you're doing is picking the verb, but, sir? All you're doing is picking the verb, but I'm going to do a couple of other things. So I'm going to look at number 1. What is the first prepositional phrase you see in number 1 in the poem? It's gone. What's the second one? It's gone. That nothing in there is your subject. I'm going to get rid of the word almost as well. It's an adverb, so it's never going to be the subject either. Adverbs cannot be subjects. So what's left to be the subject? There you go. Now let me tell you something. We're very country. Most of us are very country down here, and I'm probably as country or more country than everybody else in this room. So we talk any kind of way. We figure if people understand what we're saying, what does it matter? But let me tell you this, Ty. If your subject is plural, any kind of way, whether it's Ty and Xavier, or people, or children, or girls, whatever, if it's more than one in any kind of way, you cannot have an S on the verb. So which verb do I need? Exactly. Descriptions, make. We don't care about the rest of the sentence. We're not worried about that. The subject can only agree with the verb it's in a relationship with. That verb can't agree with every word in the sentence. It can only agree with that one word it's in a relationship with. Okay. Number 2. What is a prepositional phrase, please? Say it in number 2. In the poem, it's gone. And feet is the next one, so we'll go ahead and mark it out. All right. So, what's my subject? In number 2, lines. So what's my verb? There we go. You got a plural word. You cannot have an S on the verb. Now it seems real easy. Now tramp is something singular. You can't count it. If you can't count something, it's singular. So if that's singular, what's my verb? Is. All right, y'all do 4 through 10. You don't have to mark all that stuff if you don't want to do it. You can, it doesn't matter. Whatever makes you happy. And just pick the right answer. Let's see. I'm going to mark all the stuff so you can see how I got my answers. Remember to find your subject. If you have problems, say, hey, Miss P, what's the subject in number 1 or 2 or 4 or whatever? I'm going to mark out this adverb always too. In number 8. Nothing possessive can ever be a subject. So number 10, fathers, is possessive. It cannot be the subject. Even though we know he's the one that's like kind of been causing somebody to laugh or whatever. Feel pretty good? Okay. Zay, feel pretty good? Give people a minute to catch up. If you see I got something wrong, tell me. Don't just be like, I'm not gonna get mad at you. I mess up sometimes. Cause I told y'all I'm on fast forward all the time. I'm like on fast forward like all the time. So sometimes because of that, I make errors that I shouldn't make. I don't mind you telling me. Ty, how's it feel? How's it feel? Yeah? Confidence in most of your answers? Okay. There's your answers. If you got something wrong, fix it. If you don't understand why your answer might be wrong, tell me. Because you know in your mind that the poems is the thing that's the favorite. You know this. But 1 is the grammatical subject. So it'll mess you up. I think that's the one that was missed last class too.
So why was I'm seeing fathers instead of readers?
Fathers is a possessive word, and possessive words can also be considered as adjectives. And Even though it is a noun, and you know in your mind, again, that father is a person. But in that situation, it is a possessive person, so it cannot be the subject. And you'll write sentences like this too. I mean, you won't, not exactly like this, but you will write sentences where you're like hunting for that subject and that verb. It's not easy when you get into your own stuff. One thing I'm teaching you right now is how to proofread and analyze your own sentences so that you know what questions to ask. The people in this class who want A's, you want that A, ask questions. If you want the A, either you're already good and you don't need me anyway, and I do have that, like maybe one student a semester who really doesn't need me, which is fine. But otherwise, if you want that A, you need to ask those questions. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. But since poems is plural, we can't have that. And I bet I know some of that's from the South. It's that Southern. That's what it is. Because I'll come by your paper all the time. I'll be like, okay, big country, we gotta fix it, and it's okay. I love the way we talk down here, and I love our dialect and our twang and our slang and all that. But we gotta be able to get this formal English down. So poems have. But you're doing good. It takes a minute to get this straight. So if you're on your computer or whatever, we're going to move to the next thing. Don't lose this worksheet because we'll do another exercise tomorrow. And if you want to leave it on the corner of my desk, great. Okay. So those little notes and stuff that in that picture, that workbook page that we did, it goes right there whenever you get ready to turn it in. All these up here, what I'm going to call the old stuff from last week, I'm going to lock those about Thursday. Okay. This old stuff from last week. Probably on Thursday, I'm probably going to lock this old stuff. So you got time, and I will text you on Teams like on Thursday, and I'll say, hey, I'm about to lock this stuff. So make sure so I don't have a good memory, so I try to send out lots of reminders, and I appreciate it when y'all remind me of stuff. So, okay. So here we're trying to get to why do we get nightmares assignment. But why do we get nightmares is not going to open until you click on each of these things. So when you get over there, or if you're on your phone, if you just click on it, you ain't got to watch it. And then you can just hit next. I just want you to know that it's there. And just hit next all the way through until you get to why do we get nightmares? Some clicking. So that way, God forbid, if we are separated by COVID for some reason, and I grade something and put marks on it, then you'll know how to get to those marks, because I mark every single error on your assignments, on your writing assignments. So I'm scrolling, so you got to click through all those. I definitely have the wrong dates on those. So on Thursday, we took some notes on why do we get nightmares. You may have them jotted down somewhere. By all means, if you want to go back and peek back through the videos and watch them, do it. Don't feel pressured and stressed that you have to retell me everything that happened in those videos. You don't. Hit a few high points, and that's all. Okay, you don't have to talk about both videos. You can just focus on one, whichever one you liked the best or was easiest to understand. So in paragraph 1, you're just summarizing the video. You don't have to give your opinion or anything. It's just, this is what he said. He said this, he said that, I learned this, whatever. Okay, this was interesting. I don't know, whatever you want to say. I'm analyzing sentences. I'm not so worried about the content of whatever it was. Oh, well, he got that fact wrong. I don't even remember what the video said, except for probably what y'all remember. today. We're going to do this right now. For the second paragraph, it's all you. Nothing you write in here has to be true, Kat. So if you're not comfortable putting your personal business on paper, make it up. I'm not going to know the difference of a truth and a lie. I'm just looking at grammar and sentence structure so that I have stuff to grade. So this is, I got a couple more things to say, then we'll go over to the computer lab or whatever. Make sure you have your heading up here. I don't care if it's double or triple spaced, it can be single. Whenever I do my titles, your title is not writing assignment. Your title is not why do we get nightmares. Your title is something that you make up. Some of your titles are going to be lame, and that's okay, because you're going to make up a bunch of titles in here, but it takes some practice to get titles going. So just make up a title. When I do my titles, I do them last. That's the last thing I do, okay? And then all your paragraphs, you're going to have 2 paragraphs. And just hit that tab button and it'll indent them. You can either double or triple space, whatever makes you happy. I have found that I can grade just fine with double space, but I do like triple, and I do like 14 as a font, but 12 and double is okay too. There's one more thing that's it's right here. Oh, fonts. I get tired of looking at Times New Roman. I'm happy with Times New Roman if that's what you like. The only fonts you can't use are the cursive-y looking ones, and the caps one is because I don't want to try to fight to read it. Okay. And I always suggest that you type in Google Docs because I just think it's better, but you type in whatever makes you happy. All right. Just don't lose it. If you want to stay over here and type, great. If you want to go over there and type with your laptop and everything fine, I can easily walk back and forth between the rooms. Once you turn this in, this is your ticket out, but I got to see it because I know how some folks are. I've been done wrong too many times. So all I got to do is see it before you submit it, because then I can help you catch some errors. And you can even use these like sentence beginners right here. Ty, you hurt my feelings when you walk in here late now. You hurt my feelings.
I was trying to get there.
I appreciate it. I don't want you speeding because that's dangerous, but, or whatever it is you're doing, maybe you're walking to class or whatever. If you are walking to class, you could speed. I think you'll be all right. But if you're driving, on this one, you don't have to answer all these questions. These are just to give you ideas of what you could say. And tomorrow we should be doing the pre-writing. You don't need topic sentences. You don't need closing sentences. You're just talking to me.
Just don't do it very much. I'm sorry. Do it a little bit, then you walk out.
Just scroll up to it, just a little bit. I mean, I'm sorry, that better make it for that. Right there, okay. So, right there, but. Alright, whenever you get ready to, you gotta click, see it says complete all items, so you gotta complete all the items in this module before the next module will open. But the completion requirement is just to view it. And when, you don't have to view it. So scroll up. I mean, I'm sorry. So you gotta complete all items in this module before the next module will open. But the only thing you gotta do is basically click on it. Just click on it and then hit it next. And then next and then next until you get to the.
Okay, so you don't have to watch.
You don't know, but you know it's there. And if something happens and we're not together, and they say nobody come back to school because of coronavirus, then when I say deliver that module, then it'll be connected to someone. That's where you're going to turn in this. Let me see it before you turn it in now, because I can help you. I can save you some trouble. The first half is you just telling me what was in the video. And then you don't even have to be that serious about it. No, you don't have to be that serious. You just tell me what you do remember and don't worry about the rest of it. And you don't have to tell me, you can just tell me the parts that you were actually interested in that actually stuck with you. You don't have to summarize the whole entire everything. A little bit easier to understand maybe. And here's some little sentence beginners there. If you like them, use them. If you don't. What you got?
Yeah, I'm good, just like video one stated there. How I guess.
That's fine. And you don't even have to address both videos. You can talk about just one video. So, Nate, are you done with your stuff? Yeah, you don't, that's why I say these are kind of loose, kind of casual assignments. You don't have to be like your biology class.
They don't have good positions. Or I don't.
Nah, because you're not quoting word for word. You're just telling me what you remember in your own words. Now, you may repeat a word like hippocampus or lucid dreaming or something like that, but that's just a word. If you were quoting word for word a whole entire sentence, then it would be close, remember. But just using one of their words, that's just like a vocabulary word, and that's fine. And see, it says up there, don't quote anything. So you're paraphrasing, and you don't have to cite it or quote it, because I know where it's coming from. Those are good questions, though. Coming on out?
Mhm.
Yes, sir. What you got? Look at it, beautiful. 104 words, perfect. I'd rather have the low end than the high end. So can I format it a little bit, or do you already know what to do? I love the title. I'm gonna capitalize that L and capitalize that N right there. Highlight it. And I'm gonna put a line spacing. I'm gonna put a high from us. There it is. Perfect. All right, let's insert a page number. Insert page number. And it's gonna be the top, so the top of the page. It's gonna be on the right, and we do want that, so be okay, it's all good. Now click in front of that one and type Richmond. It'll be Richmond 1. And then you're ready to submit. I'll peek at it real quick, see if I see any grammars. Take that comma out after say. I know why it's there, but it doesn't go there. But I can understand why you put it there. Nice, I like that word. Change that T to an N. on that than it was rather than that it was. We can change that you to maybe the dreamer. And now, since we changed the you, we gotta change have to has. And now we gotta change this your, change it to his. If you prefer his or her, then you can do that, but his is perfectly fine. And his, do a or right there. Her mind makes that image. So take that I-N out. I think it's image. Okay. Even more scary. Even scarier. And I don't do this, I only do this like on the first assignment, and then you kind of get a catch on to, okay, I need to ask about this, I need to ask about that. All right, comma after dream on the first sentence. Change what's to what is. One time, comma after dreaming. Everything's going to be normal, period. Then a couple months. You put a after, then a couple months. And I did what the others did. And then this been right here, I had been there. Yeah, I had been there. So that's that country. That's that country. Oh, why is that Richmond way over there? Why won't it go over there? Click up there and see if we can make it do it. Maybe go to home and go to, it might be your alignment. Let's see what you do. We're going to tab that. Or maybe I'll tell you. I'll tell you something. The one on top. All right. Put a comma after watched. All right. This little word right here is causing this to be a fragment, but sometimes you can just take that little word out and it's fine. Take that wedge out and then also take that comma out. Yes, sir. Did you submit it? Change that to people, or we just gotta get that you out. Comma after 1952. And this is gonna be who studied that. That is gonna be who. This word that is gonna be who. All right, good. All right, see. Good, they are hard to understand. Like a whole different world. Sometimes I wake up tired because I'm drinking so much. confused myself. Should that be causes?
Oh,
I
yeah.
watched 2 videos on what causes, but I don't know why. I don't know why it's causes.
You don't know why?
I don't know, but it is causes. I can't explain it right this second. All right. You know what I said? Or from tragedy that something, missing something. I know it was missing a little, like a word, occurs or something. Or from tragedy that occurs in life. Either tragedies that occur or from a tragedy. If you're gonna use occurs, put a tragedy. In life. There you go. Lowercase that
I got them.
that cause people to do anything. They are.
Oh,
You're okay. I see these same errors every day, all day. It's how I pay my rent. So I appreciate your, well, grammar errors there. Alright. Put an ing on sleepwalk.
Alright.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Let's
I
put
put
SSS. Change that I feel belonging.
I'm not bad. I said if feel that I put it in.
My
I put it
body, maybe.
No, I wouldn't put it.
Normally I like fix one sentence or something, but I'll do that as we go along. I'll do less and less and let you take over more and more. But you don't know what to fix yet.
Yeah.
So. Ready to go? This would have quotation marks here because it's a title of the thing. Nice. Now, we're gonna add a comma, but because it's a little piece of punctuation, it's actually gonna go inside of those quotation marks. Nice. Comma right there after brains. We could probably fight about a comma there, but I don't think it needs to go there. Definitely need to be there. How about this? We'll change that to a period. Change that comma in into a period. Put a comma after two there. Comma after news. Alright.
I can submit it now.
Period. Change that into a period, yes.
Alright.
Yeah, you don't have to wait for me to go over your whole thing with you.
Right.
That was just kind of comma after the word. Turn it in. But if you want to wait for me to look at it, I will.
You did it again. Yeah.